back then there really wasn't much in the way of husbandry behavior work being done with marine mammals, and so handling the animals was a fairly physical proposition. And over the years, with the help of many colleagues, Steve Spotty would be one who basically he invented a device called the doghouse, which looks like a doghouse, but you can pick it up and drop it over a seal with the hind end out, and you can get your blood samples there, get stool samples, do whatever you have to do without having to deal with the end that has the teeth on it. So that was one of the nice things that was developed back then. Tim Binder, who worked with us for many years, was very helpful in working with us as we developed new techniques on squeeze cages. With the larger pinnipeds, the doghouse routine wouldn't work very well, so we actually had squeeze cages, which initially we patterned on the squeeze cage that the Navy had developed for use with sea lions, and then over the years we've gradually improved upon it and made a bunch of things that have made it a whole lot easier for us and easier for the animal as well. And that particular type of restraint is now pretty much an industry standard. So those are kind of some of the small animal handling improvements that we saw. Things have improved dramatically since then. We still, of course, with some animals have to use dog houses and squeeze cages, but with many of the animals in our collection, they have over the years been taught husbandry behaviors that allow us to take blood samples from them without having to restrain them mechanically or manually. We have beluga whales that have trained to sit quietly in the water in a vertical position, so we can actually do an endoscopy, put an endoscope all the way down through their mouth into their forestomach, and to examine their upper GI tract with the animal volunteering the whole time for this. Likewise with the belugas, we have techniques so they'll open their mouth, let us see what's going on in there. They'll roll on their sides to let us examine their eyes well. They'll assume positions that allow us to do ultrasound, that allows us to check out their reproductive condition. These are things that in the old days would not have been possible at all. With the pinnipeds, we can do many of the same things with some of the pinnipeds, not all. Some pinnipeds are less likely to be helpful that way, but we can get blood samples from a goodly number of them. We can do oral exams. The animals sit quietly while you palpate them. So it's a much improved situation for both the veterinarian and especially for the animal. The animal is not manhandled or stuck into a mechanical device, so the stresses on the animal are much less, if any, and the stresses on the veterinarian are also much decreased. The trainers are basically they're the key to the whole thing. The trainers obviously go to their own meetings, and they heard what was going on in other institutions, and we go to our meetings and we know what we have to do. So essentially we'd sit with the trainers and say, okay, this is what we really would like to be able to do. We want to be able to have this beluga whale lie on its side with as high up in the water as it could be, so we don't get the ultrasound machine wet, and sit there quietly for 3 or 4 minutes. And the trainers would develop that. Things like that went pretty easy. Asking an animal to do a voluntary endoscopy in the water is a whole nother ball of wax, and that took quite a long time to develop. And the trainers are really, they'd start out, instead of using the endoscope, we'd just give them a stomach tube, something that didn't cost $30,000 to practice with, and we'd come back and use the real equipment every now and then until the behavior developed to the point that now it's something that the veterinary interns at the aquarium can go out and do in the beluga whales.